Hi, Harry Barnett here in the workshop. I'm doing a quick video here of my hoops. Today is January 31st, 2026, and I saw a post on Celebrate Hand Quilting, and someone was asking about what quilt hoop to get, and there's always different opinions and different varieties of quality to materials, and I just want to kind of educate you on my particular design of quilt hoop and why I think it's one of the best that are out there, and many of my customers will also agree with that. I'm not trying to insult anyone on what you're using, but I'll give you what I have learned throughout the years. I've been doing this for roughly 17 years, and the reason I started doing this, making my own hoops, is because I used to make lap frames. I'll show you exactly what they started out as. Started out as one of these. This is my mother's lap frame that my father made years ago, as an example. It's just a craft store hoop that has got a little wing nut on there, and just a tiny little bolt that goes through it. And anyways, used to be able to buy them, for $2 to $5 back in the day. And they were all pretty much made in China, and the quality wasn't the best. And when I would go in, I'd buy a box of 24 to 36, and I'd get home, open up the box. All we would do is sort through the box and see which ones I could use, which ones I would be returning back to the wholesaler because they were unusable just due to quality. And the quality was basically in the hoop block on how this was installed on the hoop. That was the number one complaint. And I was using at that time Edmunds hoops, and they were using staples. They'd staple the block in. Most of the staples would be protruding out of the wood. I'd have to tap them in. The glue that they'd use, sometimes it wasn't even glued down properly. There'd be big gaps, and I'd have to stuff glue in, sand it down, clamp it, and then try to deal with the staples on the other side. The other issue was I would get phone calls of the bolt that would go through it would start spinning inside the wood that they would use to make the Edmunds hoop, and that wasn't good because there was really no fix for it. I'd have to replace the entire hoop at that point. And the other thing is just that the little wing nut they used. It's just this little tiny wing nut, probably a 10-cent piece of hardware. And it's not easy to actually turn. So after doing that for a couple of years and just getting so frustrated, I decided I was going to actually start bending my own hoops. And many attempts later, I ended up coming up with this hoop. Actually, I still have my original first hoop. I kept it just for, I don't know, kind of sentimental value. So this one here is a 12-inch hoop. Someday, maybe after I'm dead and gone, they'll be auctioning this off as the very first hoop. So, anyways, had a huge big block down here, and isn't exactly the most perfect looking thing. It's not even. I didn't even round over the edges. They're still kind of square, and there's gaps in the wood. So, anyways, it's that was my first attempt. Oh, and the other thing, I like this one. I never did it, but I put a magnet into the block so you could stick your pin there or something. I should probably do that in the future, but just time and cost, I never did. But anyways, that's my first hoop. So now the new hoops. This one I have in my hand is a 14-inch square. This is probably my most popular. It definitely is my most popular hoop. And I've done a lot of listening through the years and upgraded everything I can possibly do. To start, I use a very clear-grained poplar. I pick through board after boards after boards at the lumberyard to find just the perfect grain, no knots, has to be very straight. And I sort through those and bring them home. And 12-foot, 14-foot boards. I cut them down into little tiny strips, router them. I use a wood burning stamp and actually burn my logo and name into the hoop. And then I put them into a soaker, and they soak for about a week to actually let the wood soak up some water so it's more flexible. I put it into a steamer, steam bend them after about I'd say an hour in the steamer. Put them into some jigs, clamp it down, and then I let them dry for roughly a week. After that, I pull it out, I assemble it up, I glue them up, use nails, I recess the nails, I putty the nail holes, I sand it down with 80 grit, 120 grit, 220 grit until it's super smooth. Sometimes I clear coat it. Sometimes I'll stain it and clear coat it. Sometimes it will be just raw wood. It's up to you on how you want it shipped out to you. For hardware, you can see this black knob. I call that an easy turn knob. It's a nice upgrade. This has a 5-inch bolt in it. On the far end, I found these lovely little locking washers where the bolt goes in and actually locks in and it won't spin. And there's little pins that hold this lock washer in place, so no more spinning bolts. This is a lot of work just to get to this point versus what the competition makes over in China. Anyways, I make the hoops. You can buy a hoop as is. You can have it installed on a lap frame where I put some legs on it, a little plywood base similar to what you saw with my mother's. I have a rug hooking one here extra, which never ever happens, but I'll tell you about that. But this one here has a 2-inch wide hoop with an extra long bolt, a different easy turn knob, all the same hardware, magnets on the bottom for my accessory pieces, a beanbag base, sit-on base, or a floor stand. All those make them tilt and spin. And I also make some other gadgets in the workshop here, like thread caddies, some specialty hoops for cross stitch, needlepoint, embroidery, things like that. So anyways, this is just a basic intro. It hopefully will answer some of the questions on why my hoops might take so long to get, which right now it's going to be 2 to 3 months. That wait time is rarely shorter than 2 months at this point. I've got a very long list over there on the bench. And I'm just one guy. So I sit in this wood shop, watch a little TV, do a lot of hand sanding. That's the bulk of my time. And they are a little expensive at this point. And that goes to basically every one of us knows the price of everything has gone up, including wood, materials, magnets, everything. So I've had to raise prices over the past few years. And I'm actually now, I feel comfortable I'm getting a fair price for the amount of work I'm doing on each one of these. And my customers, I think, appreciate the effort and the time that I put into each. So anyways, if you want one of my items, I am listed on Etsy. I also have a website. I would rather have you go to the website because I don't pay the Etsy fees. And the website is www.laptophoops.com. The other way to order an item is you can call me. My phone number is on pretty much everything, but it's 781-248-7291. You can call me anytime. If I don't pick up the phone, I'm usually running some power tools or I'm not in the workshop, but I will get back to you as soon as possible. So hopefully that answers your questions. It's not the best video, but it's a video and it's new content versus stuff I made 15 years ago. So give me a call, place an order, or reach out to me on Facebook. Have a good one.